Hey guys, Justin here with another episode of Justin's Tools. Today, we're going to be reviewing something that might look pretty familiar to some of you, but I think when you see some of the details here, you'll realize it's not what you thought. This is a tape measure, of course, and first thing you're going to notice is that it's designed and built by Mitsubishi Electric, and then right below there, if you can see it, it says Digital Televisions. So this isn't a tape measure made by a traditional tool company. It's actually made by a division of Mitsubishi that was specialized in televisions at the time. And this particular tape measure was designed and built in the late 90s for the sole purpose of measuring televisions. Now, back then, televisions weren't the flat screens that we have today where you could put it on your wall and it was really, thin and light. Televisions were big boxes and people needed to measure them in order to know if they would fit in their room or not. And so that's what this product was built for specifically. First thing you're gonna notice, of course, is that it's red. Now, a lot of you might be saying, well, why would it be red? What's the purpose of that? Televisions were large, tall, wide, and deep. So sometimes you'd be measuring the back of a television and you wouldn't be able to see your tape measure. By making it red, it stood out a bit more in the shadows, and you'd be able to see it and find it and use it to measure. Now, there's one kind of interesting thing here. This piece is over 20 years old and it's missing the belt clip. It used to go right there. So you could clip it on your belt, always have it handy, and then use it to, let's say, measure things. So I'm gonna start off here. I'm gonna pull this out a little bit so you can see just a couple of the interesting, unique features of this particular tape measure. So first you'll notice that the numbers are upside down. Now, that might seem like a printing error, but in fact, all you have to do is flip the tape measure over, and now the numbers are right side up. So it's not something you can necessarily do with all tape measures, but again, this one, based on what it was designed for and its intended purpose, lets you do that. At the top, we have everything in inches, the imperial system, and then at the bottom, we're using centimeters and millimeters. And that just gives you the option of using this in the United States, or if you happen to be traveling abroad and still want to measure things, but be able to get an accurate count. Up here at the top, we have a little purple lights. That's interesting. We have a little clip here, and you would use this, let's see if I can demonstrate, to clip onto the edge of something. All right, and then once you, it's bent, but you would clip onto the edge of something and then it would hold if it wasn't bent. And then you could measure something without needing two hands or two people necessarily. Now, I bet a few of you have noticed this and maybe thought something or commented. The tape measure is staying out and I'm not holding it. Here's my other hand, one hand of course holding the camera. The reason it's able to do this, and this is really one of the things that sets this puppy apart, is this little switch here, this little black switch that you see here. When you extend the tape measure, you can switch this, flip this down, and it will actually hold the tape measure at the selected length. So it won't get any longer, it won't get any shorter, it'll hold it right there, and then to recoil it, you just flip that switch back into the up position, and it sucks it right back in there. So something pretty cool. Again, it's not something you see necessarily on a lot of tape measures, at least ones sold in the United States. In addition to the inch and millimeter markings, this does also have feet. So it tells you not only if something is long in inches, but if it's long in feet. So again, something that's pretty simple overall, something that most people might be somewhat familiar with, but a few very specific differences that make this perfectly designed for measuring the old televisions of the late 90s. So thank you again for watching. That's this episode of Justin's Tools. Feel free to leave a comment in the comments and click to subscribe. All right, see you next time.